Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the ABH. This is their part number 2300. This is a standard surface mount electromagnetic door holder. And here's basically what it looks like. Not basically, this is what it looks like. Okay, surface mount unit, the door armature. You're going to have, of course, the aluminum plate. And this is a modular system from them, meaning it becomes standard projection surface mount when you've got this box. You can also, order this sans the box and use just this when it's a, basically a semi-recessed mount. But here's the business end, the electromagnet. And this is going to be very typical and common use throughout different units. And the wiring is so simple, I don't even think they have a wiring diagram. Yeah, I mean, it's literally that simple. So you can wire this right out of the box. This is going to be what we would call a tri-volt unit. You'll be able to run it line voltage 120 VAC, 12, 24, VDC is what you'll be able to run this at. Okay. There is an image down below that shows what all that looks like, because it's going to be a bit more difficult to actually see that clearly on the camera. There we go. So in the right column, you see what two wires you're going to connect. The common and the 12 volt for 12 volt, common and 24, common and 120. So it's two wires. Common will always be used, and then just select, of course, your voltage that you'd like to run. And the wiring is so, simple and straightforward. There's literally no instructions in the box. So it's all literally right there. Okay. So this is a surface mount unit, obviously. So I was saying this is a surface mount model because of this back box. Well, it's not a back box, but the rest of the box. Okay. Let's take a couple of basic dimensional properties. Overall projection. Looks like it's about 3-inch. The box only, up in the front anyway, about 4 and 4.5, and then about 2 and 13/16, I would say. And of course, this is just one type of electromagnetic door holder. Different configurations to suit different requirements is the bottom line, and we're going to touch on that in a moment. So obviously you're going to need the door portion. This is going to be the part that obviously communicates electromagnetically to the holder. That will be the door portion. Now what happens here with the door portion is they automatically include a small extension with this. That small extension will allow you to obviously extend that off. And the length of that extension is 1 inch. Okay. A box wrench. Basically, this is going to serve as a box wrench. It's going to allow you to get in there, hold that, while you spin that off, okay, like I'm doing here. And you get the concept of what you're going to do. You'll add your extension here. You'll add your armature here. And now you've got a little longer length. Very typical, very common to require that. In the realm of extensions from ABH, there are several and many, meaning there are straight lengths, there are those that have an elbow, then there are custom sizes. Suffice it to say that whatever extension you need to accommodate, they can supply. This particular client, we went on this exact order, went round and round determining where to place the material based on extensions. And it just came out to be that he was able to locate a place on the wall for the doors that had to be held open to be electromagnetically held open. So what we're going to have here is okay, you're going to have 2 sex bolts. Okay, right there. Well, we got one screw, one bolt hanging in there that shouldn't be in there. Okay, so we're gonna have 2 sets of sex bolts. Right there. Now those sex bolts are going to be for the armature. They're going to go through the door. That sex bolt, the female half, will go from the opposite side. You'll screw them right through the door. That's how that's going to work. Then there will be 4 smaller machine screws. 2 flathead, 2 roundhead. Okay. You'll use 2 for getting the box mounted to where it has to go. Then you'll use 2 to get the rest of this, the business end, so to speak. Yeah, forgive me. What I'm trying to say is the box needs to be mounted to the wall, however you mount that. 2 machine screws will hold the electromagnet to the casing. The other 2 screws through the plate through here into the tapped hole that's here is how that's going to work together. Now, we've gone over the parts. We've touched on some dimensional properties. Let's look at the door armature. Diameter of that is about 2 5/8. Standard projection looks like it's about 1 5/8 inches. Let's switch to the screen view where we can take a look at the supporting documentation. Okay, so here is the item that we are looking at in the site. 2300 surface wall mount. Total projection 4 5/8 to 5 5/8, including that 1-inch extension. We put our tape measure on that. Tri-volt, 12 or 24 DC. It can also run apparently AC on 24 voltage or 120 volt on AC. Holding power is a fairly common question. People want to know how much effort it will take to pull that door off of there. And this is 30 to 45 pound. And it will depend on the voltage, how you have it wired, but within that range. US 28, sprayed finishes, and stainless steel are all available. This is just in a aluminum finish. The armature is through bolted as we demonstrated earlier, and can be provided with any projection via extensions that are required, mentioned here. Armature design will compensate for centerline misalignment up to 1/4 inch with double swivel and pivoting ball. That means the actual armature itself, this can pivot on this ball design that's in here. Okay. Low current. The milliamps were printed on the coil itself. Now, an overview of what the item looks like in terms of it being installed. An image here of different extensions. You can stack these together to make custom sizes, and if you have something, say 9-inch, you'll need to get into the S220 where they're going to make you a custom size. Okay. Swivel extension here if you have a oblique sort of angle that you need to attend to. Electrical characteristics are here. Now, there are links down below this video. The first is to the cut sheet, and here is our 2300. And not to go over or to duplicate information we've already discussed, suffice it to say that, this is material we've covered, 3 pounds per unit. There is then a template, and the template does give you, does show you wiring. It would be nice to know that common is going to be your negative wire. Obviously, an AC voltage, it's a little different understanding. So back up to the top shows you a basic installation, and this is exactly what our client is doing. This sort of 90-degree. Just so happened that the dimension they required fit within the range of what we were working on in terms of the material included with the package. Shows you the electrical data and how to connect it based on the voltage that you'd like to operate the unit at. Okay. Lists the screws that are included as well. Now, this is helpful because it will give you guidance in terms of where to locate the unit. And where to locate the unit is absolutely part and parcel to achieving success when you install the item. So let's just touch on this page. First of all, you'll have to measure dimension A. Okay, measure that distance from the perpendicular wall to the center line of the pivot. Then, using the table, you're going to then, get dimension B. what you'll then go over to your dimension B for your door width. So the example they give is dimension A is 10 inch. If you have a 42-inch door, your dimension C is going to be 39 inch. And that's where they want you to place that. Not over in the center of the door or closer to the hinge, but out practically near the edge of the door. And that's where they want that, because that's where the door will have the least force acting on pulling the armature off the magnet. In terms of the top of the door, they say about 5 inch. Total projection of door hardware must not be more than 5 5/8 on the pull side. And if it's more than that, you'll need additional extensions. Down below, dimensional overview of the material. Be mindful that your anchors need to be able to withstand the pull force, minimum 50 pound. That's going to allow for the unit to, the electromagnet, to hold the door, but also hold the door while I'm pulling it off the door. So the magnet needs to be held to the installation, to the wall, as I'm exerting all that force to overcome the pounds of holding force. Dimensions on where to locate the template or the armature as well, and then showing you that extension should you require it. Additional extensions can be ordered. These are standard extensions, but then that custom S220 can also be ordered. So pretty simple and straightforward installation instructions. They did list on that cut sheet the 2100. We're going to look at the catalog in a moment. There's also a cross-reference. So if you are looking to find out, you know, if you're doing FM 996s and you want to know what the ABH part number, you get the concept here. Okay, it's a 2300. So that would be your cross-reference. Now, there's a link below this video here to the manufacturer's page. That page is going to allow us to view not only all of the ABH products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. And as we fire that document up, we can just do a find function on our keyboard for 2300. And we're going to get to the electromagnetic door holder section. This is also linked down below as a product catalog. And you can read through this, review this, you know, with the sense of comfort that it can handle, you know, whatever voltage you need to run to it. Different applications will call for different shapes of this material. So the recessed style is a 2100. It's going to be a 2300 without this box, basically. Simple and straightforward. There are other models, flush style, for instance, and you'll see those often when you can't have any projecting material and projecting hardware, plus when the door is quite parallel to the wall and close to it. You'll use a shorter projection. Variations on the flush mount. A heavy-duty surface mount is here. The purpose of the heavy-duty mount is you're getting 300 pounds of force, so it'll take quite an exertion to get that pulled off the door. You'll use that when you cannot suffer, you know, casual removal of the door off the electromag. Floor mount is here, both single and double style. Double style would be for clearly a pair of doors. Well, it would be probably for 2 pair of doors. And then armature parts and accessories. Armature, variations of that for the different models, and then extensions. Then the custom extension is here as well. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Now, a very typical and common piece of equipment, the electromagnetic door holder. When it comes to use of this material on fire-rated doors, obviously this needs to be connected back to the fire alarm panel so that the door is going to close upon not only fire alarm communication, but by all means of activation. If you are putting these on fire-rated doors, those doors are possibly subject to annual inspection. You're going to want to make sure that you have factory original extensions. You're not going to want to use anything homemade for an extension. We've seen chain, we've seen pictures of all kinds of things used to create these extensions or to emulate them. And I think the reason that people do so is because they don't realize that it's no longer a fire-rated door when you improvise on hardware. They may realize how expensive these extensions are, and they might just improvise as a result. But you'll want to be mindful to use the factory original material, because that would be a point of audit of failing a fire door assembly audit during an inspection. So you're going to use these on those doors that need to be held open, that are likely fire rated, and do so elegantly. Obviously, you're going to see them installed in hospitals everywhere all the time is where you're going to mostly see these. Those doors are held open unless there's a fire. There needs to be doors there for fire enclosures, for fire separation, but those doors need to be open. Lots of them that are coming through cross corridors. Other doors are always closed, like doors to, intensive care, things of that nature, where you wouldn't use this sort of item. But everywhere else in the hospital, you see them all the time. And they are a common item to be inspected to make sure that they're working correctly. The door holds it open. The door can be closed and latched upon release of the door by all means of activation, interrupting the fire alarm panel, pulling on the door, things of that nature. Very common to install these because you need a code-compliant way by which to hold these doors open. And on fire-rated doors, it needs to be code-compliant. So, if you have any questions on the 2300 ABH electromagnetic door holder, this is a very generic and common item that you can buy from lots of people. Why would you consider ABH? Well, they are an independent company with real people who answer the phone, and generally that person who answers the phone can answer all of the questions. They are a fairly petite offering of product in their catalog, fairly petite. They're constantly growing, getting better. There is tremendous value with ABH, and their shipping lead times are generally pretty enviable within the industry, according to not only myself, but others who are familiar with ABH. Any questions on the 2300 surface mount electromagnetic door holder or any other ABH product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. If you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please click subscribe as well, and even share the video with someone that you know. And if you have any questions for a future video, please send them our way and we will make every attempt to oblige. And thank you very much.